Hello and welcome everyone to Voice of the Non-Nation, episode 13. JPN, how we doing?
Oh, doing well. Enjoyed a quieter week, actually.
Nice, nice. Yep. Here we are, week of June 26th for episode 13. Got some cool stuff to talk about this week. Let's go ahead and check out Ultrasound Money. Can we pull that up? How's ETH doing?
We'll get our ultrasound money minute here. ETH, actually, it's all quiet on the chain too. ETH
Yeah.
sitting at,
Ooh, 1893.
yeah,
Nice.
we saw a nice pump over the course of this week.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think what, Wednesday the pump started?
I
Maybe
think Wednesday was
Tuesday?
the big day. Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday was a big day. That was a nice move. I
Yep.
was happy to see that. Um, Man, what was the catalyst for that?
I feel like it's some of
I feel like it was
the
following BTC with the
yeah.
BlackRock move,
Yep, with the various
with the
ETFs that,
ETF.
yeah, we're
Right.
getting to that one next. But yeah, I think that was a major catalyst here because there
Yep.
really wasn't much else. This really sort of felt like a pump of like, oh, is TradFi getting into this? Are we gonna see like institutional money start to get put into crypto assets here? So we got a nice little
Yep.
pump. But the thing that's getting me is look at these gas fees over a while. We have
Oh, I know.
consistently
Yeah.
been below the
Yeah. I
ultrasound
was
barrier.
trading at 13 Guai yesterday on Uniswap, and that was great.
Yeah, we're under 12 here for a while. So if you've got things
Ooh.
to do on chain, now's a great
Yep.
time to go ahead and fire some of those off. Do your
Yep.
maintenance stuff, register your ENSs, do whatever you got to do. Gas is
That's a good
cheap.
one.
Gas
Yep.
is cheap. Take
Yep.
advantage of it.
Take me through issuance. So where are we at? So yep, we are definitely above the threshold. We are
Yep.
inflationary at the moment.
Yeah. So over the course of a
724
week,
versus 670. Yep.
Yep. Over the course of a week, at this point, an extra 1,000 ETH has been issued versus burned. You know, you can see the
Yep.
numbers over here on the right, but we're plus 1,000 ETH. And if we sort of
Yeah.
zoom out and take a look over the same time under proof of work, that would have
Yep.
been 81,000 ETH. So we're
Yep.
talking a reduction of 97, 98%, 98,
Yep.
99%, which is
Right.
wild. And then even if you
Right.
look at Bitcoin, there's been over 6,000 Bitcoin mined
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
course of that week versus
Yep.
just over 1,000 ETH. That is
Yep.
oh
So net trending very deflationary
yep
for the Ethereum chain. So that's what we want to see. That's great. Expand
yeah
this on your time horizon, right? 10,
yep.
15 years, and what proof of stake has done. Tremendous. So
And from the
that's
merge,
great.
we are still net deflationary. We hovered right around,
Yep.
even for a while. We had
Yep.
catalysts here. I think this one was FTX. This is when FTX went down. I think that's what that big dip was.
Yeah.
Then we've
November
had sort of a
7th.
slope
Yep.
thing, and here's meme season. During meme season, look at that
I was
slope
going
there.
to say, where's Pepe? Right.
Pepe
Exactly.
was right
That's
in here. We just,
right
things just
there. That was brutal.
burn, baby, burn.
120 Guai, I think, was like reasonable. It was like the
Standard.
lowest I had seen in days. Oh my God, that was awful. That was awful. All right, let's go through. Let's go to our first topic. What's our first topic for the day?
First topic, and we alluded to it a little bit, is
Yeah,
TradFi potentially moving into the
yeah,
crypto space. This week we had,
yep,
I think we started out Monday or Tuesday. We learned about the BlackRock. They
yep,
filed a Bitcoin spot ETF,
right.
and their history for filing ETFs is very, very good.
Squeaky clean. I mean, it is, yeah. What
It's
I read, they've never lost an
150
ETF.
to 1. I
They've
think it's
never,
150 to 1. I think there was one that didn't
wow,
get through, but
yeah.
we're looking at a hit rate of, over 99% here.
No matter no matter what the result of this application is, this is a statement from TradFi, the largest asset manager in the world, putting out an ETF application for Bitcoin during all of this, mess with the SEC and ongoing with crypto regulation, and
Mm-hmm.
they are staking their position where they think the future of money will be, right? And that they're going to be a part of it, right? So that is really interesting.
Oh,
I
they
wish they
want
would
a
have
piece
filed
of
an
this.
Ethereum ETF application, but hey, one step at a time. We'll take it.
I think it logically makes sense for me that if you're going to try to get into the crypto space and you want your best shot at,
Yeah,
cracking into it, you want that first step into it, you file it for Bitcoin. It's the longest,
yeah,
it's the one that's been around for the longest. It sort of has the
right,
most staying power. It has the most history. So
right.
for me, that does make a
Is
lot of sense. Of if
Agreed.
you
But
want
what
to
about
crack
what
into
does
the
the
market.
timing speak to you? What does the timing say to you, right? We
Oh,
have this huge push, right, of trying to basically kill crypto, right, for retail, things like that, right? And, maybe even to go further and to really just say, no, US dollar hegemony, there'll be no alternative or private,
yep,
forms of value and currency. And this just feels like this, and a lot of people have talked about, how Larry Fink is a large, donor to a certain party, things like this. And, a lot of people feel there is one party who is waging this war on crypto. And, he is a part of that party. And a lot of people are saying, like, this is a loud and clear message and drawing a line on the sand, like, you are interfering with our possible profits here, and we're making it very well known and clear our intentions here. So the timing to me is super interesting,
oh yeah,
with the SEC battle going on with Coinbase, with the SEC battle going on with Binance, right? And just like, how typical, right? I mean, watch what they do and not what they say. A clip was trending on YouTube this week. Jamie Dimon, or I'm sorry, Twitter this week. Jamie Dimon talking about how, to me Bitcoin is absolutely worthless, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff, right? And then we've gone to see, we've seen what JP Morgan is doing, with crypto behind the scenes, things like that. So it's watch what they do and not what they say, and
yep,
how typical that they're waiting until all the retail is just scared to death, and like, oh, is crypto even worthwhile? Things like this, and now they're piling in, and now they're getting in, and now they're making it exceedingly clear that this is a space that we're going to play in, right?
yeah.
They want your coins for cheap. You know what I mean? They want your crypto for cheap.
Well,
I hate to be a conspiracy theorist. I hate to be that guy, but
oh,
come on.
oh no, I'm with you. I wonder how many of
Yeah.
them, how many of these companies saw, they didn't really know what the space was about. They may
Yep.
have, intentionally kept some distance, wanted to see
Yep.
if it was a speculative bubble. And then I wonder how many of them saw, the FTX documents on like how they were keeping their books, and they saw
Yep.
just how terrible they were at bookkeeping. I wonder if they saw that and were just like, this is our competition, like this, to get into the space and to try to
Right.
get access to some of
Right.
these profits,
Right.
we have to do better than that.
Right.
Easy.
Like
Like,
like we can do this. And
yeah.
just like you talked about last week, right? These profit margins compared to what they're used to, compared to what they can be making
Mm-hmm.
in this pioneering space, right? It is too much temptation for them. There is no way they are going to sit out this monetary revolution, right? In
Yeah.
this technological revolution, regardless of what they say, regardless of how many times their CEO stands up there and says this is a Ponzi. And actually, my daughter bought it and laughs sheepishly, things like that. It doesn't matter, right? These
Yeah.
institutions, they understand the power of crypto and the staying power. And to touch on that, Jay Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, said, under oath this week when testifying to Congress, that it appears that crypto has, staying power as an asset.
Yeah.
You have the head of the Federal Reserve addressing members of Congress, right? And in a way that I didn't get a chance to look at what question prompted that or whatnot, but it just it's kind of like, hey, you guys think you're trying to kill this, but that's not going to work. And really, what's going to happen is the United States is just going to get bypassed,
Yeah.
right? In the home of Finance 2.0, they'll move somewhere else, right? And it's kind of a warning to them. The asset class has staying power. So
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Yeah. And they didn't say whether it was, good or bad staying power in some ways. So he wasn't taking a
Yeah.
stance, but it's here. This is not a flash in the pan. It is not
Yep.
this will blow over. This is
Yep.
something that is like the internet. It is here to stay, and it's going to revolutionize how you handle finances, because it's
Yeah.
radically
How
different.
value is transmitted. Yeah.
I don't know if I've
Absolutely.
said anything, but when I go to Walmart, every time I check out and walk out of there, they have a sign saying "Send money to Mexico for as little as like $2.99 or something," and I'm just
Yep.
like,
Yep.
you can do that
Yeah.
better with blockchain
Yep.
technology, not pay some
Yep.
middleman that fee,
Right.
pay your
Right.
security costs. But
Right.
it's like, it's going to
And it,
radically transform how you can manage your own finances in the short term.
yep.
It has real world
And
applications.
transmit
We've
value.
seen it.
Yeah, and
We've
that's one
seen it.
tiny use case. By the
Yeah.
way, that's a steal for international remittance over on the TradFi system. By the
Yeah.
way, that's a pretty good deal.
That's a good
But
one.
yeah, absolutely.
You
Click of a
can't send money
button,
everywhere in
value
the world. That
transferred, secure network, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
There is
we'll
power in
see.
that. There's a lot of power in that.
Watch what they do and not what they say. That's
Yep.
that's that's always my take. And I've been in the space for 6 years, a little over 6 years now, and time again you see it. So that's interesting. So right on. All right, now let's take a look at DefiLlama. We're going to talk about tool research here.
Yeah. So have you? We'll start with this. Have you used DefiLlama at all in the past?
Very rarely. Very
Okay.
rarely. I have been directed there a couple of times. Yeah, very rarely. I know that they have an aesthetically pleasing kind of interface or dashboard, if you
Yeah.
ask me. It looks like very Coinbase like, to be honest.
Yeah. This is in my opinion, it's a nice professional, data aggregator for
Mm-hmm.
on-chain protocols, and
Yep.
they've been building it out for years. And I keep seeing them tweet, and they keep putting things out like, oh, we've added tracking for this protocol, there's tracking for that protocol. Sometimes they start tracking protocols that haven't announced they're launching yet. And they literally get the scoop on protocols who are trying to keep things quiet for a little bit,
Yep.
and end up listing them here, where you can track data. But it has everything from the market overview, how much money is in stable coins, how much
Yep.
value is throughout the blockchain, just what the volume is, basic things. And then you also have your leaders. Where is the money located? Well, it's on Lido, it's MakerDAO, it's uh, Aave, it's Uniswap, it's
Yep.
Curve, the usual suspects. But they're up here and you can see it. And you can do all sorts of playing around with this. So this is their dashboard. It's DefiLlama.com.
Yep.
But you can go everywhere. You can go check out airdrops that have happened. You can go
Very
check
cool.
out you can go check out yields on various chains and on various platforms. So you can go in and search, like, oh, I have ETH sitting in my wallet. I want to go ahead and earn on ETH.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see where you can go ahead and stake your ETH and get the most out of it. And there's one
Wow, that is handy. That's
just
really
ETH.
nice.
You can say,
Yeah.
I only want to be using some.
Arbitrum or something.
Yeah, maybe I just want to look at
What's the
Arbitrum, where I
best
can
yield
stake
I
my
can
ETH
get
on
on
Arbitrum.
Arbitrum? Right.
Yep. And then
See
it's
you next.
automatically listed by total value locked, which is sort of a good indicator of whether you can trust it. If the total
Yeah.
value lock's low, maybe it's a little more risky. If it's high, you're
Ah,
probably safer. But then you can also
those
just sort by,
trust indicators, life before the non-nation, those trust indicators. Got
yeah,
to still rely on them until we launch.
right. But you can go through and check out the 30-day average APY, and you can find the degenerate ones.
Yeah.
whatever
Yep.
this is, they're paying out 3,000% APY, which is totally degenerate, but
On their
it's there.
$11,000 TVL. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
luck with that.
Yeah, but there's different places here that you can find it. You can also go in and look for delta neutral
Yep.
positions.
Yep.
Give it a collateral. Say again you want to just do ETH. You can look for delta neutral APY with doing to basically earn APY on your ETH here, and they tell you sort of how to go through and do it. You can look at long short strats. You can look at various overviews. You can
Yeah.
go and look at volume for different chains.
Yeah.
If you want to see where the
What's the
money is
volume on
moving to.
Optimism right now? Let's see.
Oh,
Number
volume on
5. Very
optimism.
nice.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's not up to
33%. Yeah.
Arbitrum,
Yeah.
but it is up, and in fact, on the day it's up 22% or something.
Right. Right. Good
20%
day.
on
Wow.
Arbitrum. Yeah,
Wow. So
I think the number of wallets.
the cumulative volume is close to 4x, 4.5x on Arbitrum versus Optimism. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
comparing those. Yep.
Yeah, that's
And then
interesting.
we still have
Hmm.
Polygon up here. Polygon is still, very. It still has some staying power. Avalanche is here.
Yeah.
Solana. We should ignore this one. Uh,
Hey,
uh,
there was a feature piece in Bankless this week about is Solana going to survive? And
yeah,
a lot of people have called for the death of Solana, and it's been pretty resilient. So I don't have a dog in that fight.
I
I
don't
like
either.
decentralized chains personally, but that's it's interesting to see. So obviously, a
And
lot of people who vote with their wallets are transacting on the chain.
oh yeah, you can go check out the different bridges,
Yep,
how inflow and outflow of different chain looks here. You can see
yep,
days that a lot of things happen. I think this was actually the Arbitrum airdrop or so, just about the same time as the
yeah,
Arbitrum airdrop. I think that's
yep,
why things were moving a lot that
yep,
day. But you can go in and
yeah,
see, over 7 days, how much is deposited, how much is withdrawn. Are people going in and out of these different chains, and kind of get an idea about where the money's moving. You can go in and just look at individual protocols again somewhere in here,
yeah, yep,
uh, top protocols, and go in and see, for a chain, what's the top liquid staker, what's the top DEX, what's the top lending platform, yield platform, serve, etc. And you can just go in and see, like, oh, what's the top one, and you can go in and click on one, like Velodrome here for Optimism, and you can go in and see,
yep,
okay, what's their total value locked here, what's it doing, what's going on here. You can pull in the information. You can see who their competitors are down here and click around and explore them. You can look at their treasuries. You can check out
yeah.
unlocks. You can look at
Very
the
cool.
yields, so you can go in and view all the different pools on the protocol, what their yield is, how much value is in a particular pool, what's your reward
Yeah.
API, yeah, just
So
fees
if
and
so if
revenue.
you're a giga brain that's all about DeFi, is DeFi llama, would you say? Because I'm definitely not. I try to get in where I can, and sometimes there are things like that, but DeFi is its own monster to me. So if you are a DeFi aficionado, is DeFi llama the destination of choice?
Oh goodness, yes. There is. This is one of the two that we'll talk about here today. But
Okay.
there
Yep.
is a ton of information here that's being pulled, directly from chain. You can go through, see
Yeah.
what is happening here, get an idea about what protocols are. And honestly,
Yeah.
it's a great place if you're looking to invest in something. Take a minute, go find the protocol on DefiLlama and see what's going on there. That way you sort of have this, third party. You
Right.
can look and say,
Right.
okay, the yields that they're reporting here match what
Yeah.
is on their
Right.
website. You can read a
Don't
little
don't
bit
listen
about
to the marketing claims. Go look at the data, right? The
yeah.
data points are always going to be stronger, right? And yeah,
Oh yeah.
this is pretty phenomenal with how much data that you can quickly look and utilize here. This is
Oh yeah,
great.
and just checking out, how much has been locked in there. You can get an idea about whether
Yep.
whether it's growing, whether it's stabling off. So for like Rocket
Yep.
Pool, This is how much is, I think this is, this is RPL, so their governance token versus the ETH
Yep.
that is staked here. But you can get an idea about, is this growing, is this shrinking, and you can tell the
Right.
lead up to Shanghai here. Wow,
Yep.
post Shanghai,
Yeah.
people were staking their ETH. You could
But that
see
huge unlock. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
that. Yeah, I mean
That is
that should
definitely
be here
grown.
too. You can go see their
That's
governance
definitely grown.
proposals, and go check
Yep.
it out and see, what started, how many people voted for what. And there is a ton of data here. If you're looking to invest in something, it's great to just go in and say, I'm going to check it out here for a couple of minutes, poke around
Yep.
the data here and see, do I, am I into this? Do I want to go
Yep.
ahead and jump into this
Yep.
protocol?
Right.
They even have other things here, like the llama swap, and I think
I've
this will
heard of
open.
Llama Swap. Yep.
But this is
I've heard
just
of
an
Llama Swap.
aggregator for all your different swaps. So if you go there, it'll try to find the best price on a particular chain
Yeah.
for what swap you want to
Yep.
do.
Yeah. This is
Uh,
a great tool for the DeFi ecosystem. And
there's a
the,
borrower aggregator. There's
nice.
CX transparency. You can see the inflows and outflows from the various CEXs. You can see how much money's going in and out of Binance here.
Yep.
And you can tell, because of some of the scares in the lawsuits, Binance has, 1 month outflows of almost $4 billion,
4 billion.
which is,
Right. It's a
that's not
lot.
a small amount.
It's a lot. No. Yep.
But there is a ton of data here. It's great. If you're not using DefiLlama, the other thing that they have, and I can't quite show it, but they have a Google Chrome extension. And that Google Chrome extension does two things that I think are really valuable. One, on Etherscan, it'll go through and give some indications when you view individual wallets. It'll say, oh, this
Mm-hmm.
person's funded from this CEX or this CEX, or this is someone who's in the top 50% of swappers using Uniswap, or they
Right.
collect a lot of NFTs. So you can get analytics on particular wallets that way. And the other thing it has is it has a detect phishing website mode. So they basically maintain a list of, whitelisted websites that are, real protocol websites. And
Yeah.
so when the little llama in your toolbar is green, it means you're on the official site.
Hmm.
You're safe to go ahead and you do your transactions there. If you get to it from some other link and it happens to be a phishing site, the little llama will show red and say, "Hey, this isn't the right site."
Some centralized. I mean, that's helpful, but it's some centralized guy who's whitelisting and
Yeah,
blacklisting. Eh.
it is.
I like reading it directly from the chain, right? I think, and we'll see, when the NONnation platform launches and all of the tools, right, that we have that, because as DefiLlama is kind of a page for the ecosystem for DeFi things like that, the NONnation ecosystem will also have
Oh
tools
yeah.
like this, and for the whole ecosystem, and some really innovative things that Toshi has talked about, and that we're planning, as new projects show up and things like that, and project information, stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
that's going to
no,
aim to really
it's
show.
great. I mean, it's great. It's a great stopgap,
Yeah,
for right now.
it is a nice resource. If you're not using it, I'd recommend using it. They even
Yeah.
have a part of the reason we're talking about it. They have a GPT plugin now. So on Chat
Mm,
GPT,
mm-hmm.
you can use that plugin and query all the data that's here essentially, and you can ask
Oh, cool.
in just
Very
plain
cool.
English, hey, tell me, blah, blah, blah about blah, blah, blah. And it can go
Right.
ahead and spit that
Right.
information out in a plain text
Right.
way. So it's nice.
Right.
I
Tell
like
me
to
how
dig
much
in.
spot volume was traded on Wednesday, on
Yep.
BitNext, or,
Yeah.
BTC perps or something like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool.
So we have
Yeah.
that one. This is one stop for your data. The second one is uh, uh, Dune, and it's something I'm very passionate about. I've obviously done a lot of work with
Yes.
Dune.
Dune. The spice
But
must flow.
yeah, the page for Dune here is if you go to their main site dune.com and you search for and you click on the discover tab here, The Discover
Yep.
tab sort of has, these are the big, these are the most trending dashboards right now. You can go in and say, okay, someone made one
Hey,
about the Zora Bridge, and
created
you
by
can click in there.
JPN.
Hey, there's one by me here. In fact, it was
Nice.
the Velo 2 migration, trying to track how that looked. I
Very
think
cool.
they ended up tweeting it out. I think that's why it's trending. So it came out over the
Very cool.
airwaves.
Yep.
But you
So
can
this is
kind of get a
trending.
yeah, you can kind of get a sense here of, oh, what are some of the big things happening right now on chain? And there's layer 0,
Yep.
the Velo V2 migration. There's another layer 0 one. Something's happening with layer
Yep.
0. The fact that there's 2 dashboards up here,
Yeah.
something's going on. I don't know what,
Right.
but something's going on.
Right.
Something might be going on with the Zora Bridge. And then there's some others, and you can filter by different time frames. So you can look at the 24-hour or the 4-hour.
Yep.
L2, not sure what that one is, but the layer 0 ones right up at the top. Layer 0 airdrop. It kind of sounds like layer 0 might have something going on right now. And this
Yeah.
would be sort of the first place to check. So you check here, get an idea about what's running, and you can click in, take an idea, look at some of the stuff that they're presenting in their dashboards. But then you would take this, and basically I'd go on Twitter and just be like, okay,
Yeah.
what's happening? Is the layer 0
Yeah.
airdrop happening? What's going on?
Right. Well, and this is, I agree. And this is actually a really cool way to maybe funnel into some alpha that isn't maybe, you know, to be able to distinguish what's like really going on, rather than starting with the shill machine that is crypto Twitter, right? And like,
Yeah,
people saying, oh, this and this, and just actually like looking like what's going on or what's going on chain. Like there's all the activity happening, right? And kind of starting that as
yeah,
your funnel and then using, the crypto Twitter resource, which can be a great resource if you can skim through the, 95% of the junk that you need to
get
throw
through the
out
noise.
immediately,
Cut
get
through the
through
noise.
the noise, as they like to say, right? And be able to find some hidden alpha. So,
Yeah,
you're
there's
a incredibly my wife is a data engineer, and you are a very data driven person. Is from my time with you. Over the years, and I can see that like this is like a great approach to like just to take some data of what's actually happening and be able to filter it and go through that way. So this is solid right here. I like it.
yeah. I see what
A
5
data
layer
first
0
approach.
ones at the top here.
Yep.
Someone's the layer 0 airdrops either coming, or there's rumblings about it. People are checking it out. Uh,
Yeah.
Not
Right.
financial advice, but this might be something to look into. In fact, if we hear something in the
Right.
next few days, we'll talk about it on our space. But we're
Right.
recording this Sunday evening, so if it hasn't
Yep.
happened yet and it happens in the next day, alpha.
Yeah, for sure. So what's the parameter to qualify as trending? Do we know?
I'm not
I'd be
quite sure.
curious to know that. Maybe it's kind of who knows if they put that out there. Maybe, it's
Yeah,
their own
I
algorithm,
think largely it's
if
clicks
you're right. You can
and
you can
visits.
reasonably assume though, right? Like, if it's trending on here, right? I mean, and that's a way that, people will try to get in early on projects, things like that, and like Dex tools, like what's trending on Dex tools. I mean, that's
Yep.
probably like, the most overhyped thing at this point. But 2 years ago, right? If you were to sit there and watch Dex tools and
You
like
can
what's
see the
trending
things.
on Dex
Yeah.
tools, you could get in early, and like that was
Hmm.
like legit alpha that you could like 3 years ago almost at this point, you know what I mean? But this might be a little bit more for the data sophisticated crowd, and really you don't have to be that sophisticated to kind of use this method to look and see, hey, what's trending on chain, what's trending within the communities, and then just go funnel from there and maybe get some alpha to to get ahead of the hype crowd, get a nice little payday when the hype crowd comes in. And
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, let's take that just for a second. Just for a second. Let's go back to DefiLlama and let's go see
yeah.
what's going on with layer 0. So let's see if I can find a good player. That's layer 2 eigenlayer. Where is layer 0? I don't know where layer 0 is. Is it a chain? I don't even know. What is a layer
I
zero?
think it's a chain. I think it's a chain, if I remember correctly.
Uh, no,
Because I
that's
know there's
layer.
layer zero labs. It's interoperability protocol.
Oh, interoper. INT. I don't see it here. This would be a time to go in and like take a look. Perhaps layer zero, they don't have something tracked here yet. It might be testnet stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but that would
Yep.
be something to do. You go check it out there, take it over
Right.
to DefiLlama and see what's going on.
Right.
Can
And if
use
you
these.
see it trending on there, right, just hopping on to Twitter and typing in layer zero and latest and just start funneling from there because right, that okay, yeah, so there's an airdrop going on right now. Airdrop is live. Well, we never know.
Uh
It
huh.
says
Yeah.
there's an
No.
airdrop going on right now. I am not going to say that. A new era of seamless cross-chain interoperability. Do your own DYOR, do your own research, find out what's going on if layer zero is something that interests you. But this is a way to potentially look at, cool things coming online, right? In a data-driven approach kind of way. And what's really exciting, when the NONnation ecosystem platform comes live, right, is that
Yep.
like, we're going to have so much analytics baked in, right? And kind of like Dune integration, integrated from day one, things like that. And as new projects come live and come on chain, things like that, and within the ecosystem, right? People will be able to get it straight from the chain, straight from the horse's mouth. Won't
Yep.
rely on what's going on Twitter or this and that, right? It's just straight from the chain, and that's kind of the beauty of it. Um, the way that we'll aggregate all of that. So that's pretty exciting. But any kind of resources like these that we've been going after that help people see the actual data on chain, the source of truth, and really what's going on with a project, right, is a good thing, right? And the more
Mm-hmm.
proficient that the crowd becomes, things like that, right? And of course, right, in the NONnation ecosystem, right? I mean, with factory contracts, things like that, like people won't have to always be looking out for a rug like they are here,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and how it is these days. But it'll still be nice, if as users become more savvy and more proficient at reading, from the chain, things like that. It will be cool to see. So it's going to be exciting.
Read it. Yeah. Yeah. These are the places, and we'll have another one, to add to this list when uh, our token aggregator comes online with the launch of the
Yep.
protocol. That's going to be another place where you can find data and look for the
Right.
edge, because
Right.
that's the way to make it in this space, is to have an edge over the
Yeah.
mass. Even if you
Right.
might not have to be the first one to figure something out,
Right.
but
Right.
if you're before the big, the big swells, if you can get
Right.
just a little bit of alpha, if you can be there just a little
Right.
bit earlier than most, that
Right.
can make a big difference.
Right. And it's, and of course, the NONnation is all about creating real and sustainable value. And it's not going to be this, got to get in and got to get out. And you know what I mean? And somebody's left holding the bag. That's not what we're trying to create here. And so it's going to be, value will be thought about in a different way, but certainly, as the NONnation, ecosystem comes online and projects are building things like that, it always benefits to be early. And so it'll be, really cool to see those who are, savvy, and of course the platform will make it exceedingly easy to look at those metrics and to see what's coming online, things like that. So yeah, very cool, very cool. But in the meantime, in the interim, this DefiLlama and these Dune dashboards here are really cool to see, and a good way to maybe get some alpha ahead of the crowd.
Yeah, check
Yeah,
them out.
that's great.
DefiLlama.com and then Dune.com.
Yep.
Those are the two
Yep.
resources.
And so it's been pretty quiet on crypto Twitter this week, did I see that there was some more Ben.eth drama?
Oh
I, you
gosh.
know, I I'm just in the back of my head. I'm just tracking a little bit more. Is there going to be any more Ben.eth drama? And I don't know why, but the whole trust me, send me thing just really rubbed me the wrong way. I probably shouldn't be paying as much attention to it as I am. But did we have a little more Ben.eth drama?
Yeah,
Anything that you saw?
yeah, I feel bad every time I even read what's coming out of there,
Yep.
but I feel like I have a slight obligation just to have a
Real
slight
quick,
clue
real quick.
and just see it.
Yeah.
So the latest drama is him and BitBoy. They had teamed up for the Ben token. In fact, I think Ben.eth had
Yeah, we
launched
talked
it.
about that.
BitBoy had come in to pump it all. They're
Yep.
now broken up. They
The
went through a very
1-2
public
punch.
breakup.
Oh, did they?
Oh, very public,
Shocker, I tell you. What a
right?
shocker.
It was a big shock to me too that two
I never could
grifters
have foresaw that. Right.
wanted to go ahead and team up,
Their
and then
grift their grift DNA wasn't compatible.
they tried to do a fusion, and it worked itself apart. So they broke up. BitBoy got hacked, supposedly. Maybe it was an inside job. It was
Yeah.
posting phishing
Yeah.
links.
Yep.
Uh, Stuff happened. Hopefully, people didn't lose too much. But he was posting phishing links. He was supposedly hacked. Maybe he wasn't actually hacked though, and it was an inside. There's some rumors. We won't get into that. But
Never
then
click on links that you don't know or trust.
don't
Never.
DefiLlama plugin. No. Uh, there's also what's the other one? Fire.io. That's another plugin you can get to see.
Yep.
It'll
Yep.
simulate your transaction, tell you
It'll
what's actually going to
simulate the
happen.
transaction. Right.
Super
Exactly.
cool, super useful. We'll have to talk about it some other time.
Yeah, some nice stopgap tools until
Yeah.
NONnation goes live.
But anyways, so yeah, BitBoy got hacked. That happened. There was drama between Ben and BitBoy. They threatened to dump tokens on each other. I think Ben was going to dump his Ben that was on Ethereum, but then was promoting the one that's on Pulse Chain. You know,
Oh
the hex,
God.
and saying that
Oh
was the real
yes.
one.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, we're bringing more. Bringing Richard Hart into it now. Uh,
It's
and
never a
then
good thing. It's
the
never a
latest
good thing.
is supposedly Ben.eth also was recently hacked here, was maybe hacked. I think posted some phishing links, almost lost access to stuff, maybe got it back. And someone's take on that was, it's a good thing no one lost money in the Ben.eth hack because they had all lost money to Ben.eth.
Right.
But oh my
This,
gosh,
this is why we can't have nice things, JPN. This is why we can't have nice things in this space. And this is the part of the bear market that we're in, right? Where
yeah.
it's just, all decorum just being thrown out the window.
And then
So
and
as
then
as fun as this stuff is to talk about,
Well,
stay safe,
there's one
everyone.
last thing. There's one last thing. It
Yeah,
wouldn't be
please.
complete without Elon Musk. Uh,
Oh, yes.
he retweeted something that said, everything is a psyop, and of course,
Yep.
the one token that Ben had was psyop, and it did like a 2,000% on that tweet.
Oh God. Yep.
So
Here we go.
we got everyone in there. We had Elon, we had BitBoy, we have Richard Hart, we have everyone just mixed together
Yeah,
in
for
this
the
at this
perfect,
point.
crypto, and as the world stands by and laughs and shakes their head at us again, right? And tisk tisks us, this space. I can't wait for the NONnation to come in and create real, lasting value in Web3 and the space, and to showcase what this space can be, and not for pump and dumpers and to get in and get out and things like that, and actually creating real value on chain. That's
Real
why when we talk
value.
about the NONnation, we talk about it as this is a paradigm change. It's a complete paradigm change. We are turning the space on its head.
Yeah. It's real value and even real businesses being able to be
Yep.
set up on
Yep.
Ethereum. It is this idea that
Right.
you can use all the advantages that we talked about on about having your data on the chain. Someone
Yep.
else is storing your data. You can use aggregators and you
Yep.
know uh, like Dune and query your data in a way where you don't have to store it.
Right.
uh,
I mean, what business is going to come set up on in this space? This shit is so embarrassing. I
yeah.
cannot, excuse my French, I cannot wait until, as a space, we mature past this, right, and are creating real value, right? I mean, the benefits. Ethereum was not created for this, right? This is not it can be a use case. It obviously is a use case,
hmm
but this is not even coming close to using Ethereum for how it was imagined, or I guess it's a world computer, so it can be used however, but this is not, from a value perspective, what needs to happen in order for value to be retained on chain, in my opinion. And that is the problem
yeah.
that we are working to solve in the NONnation. And Toshi.eth wrote an incredibly prescient article that's coming out this week. And I can't remember the title, but with DAOs and DAOs and decentralized. What was the word that he used? Let me. It was great. It was great, and I need to look it up, but.
Was
Delusional arbitrary organizations, and that is just hits the nail right on the head,
yep.
right? Like, so everybody, this week, of course, we're kind of changing up the schedule this week, but when the article launches this week, have a read, look at it from that perspective, and you'll understand what it is, the problems that we have in the space, and how we're working to provide solutions and to move the space in the right direction and to create real and lasting value. So that way, business, and commerce and things like that can have the environment to flourish and be able to create real value. And that's what we're doing. So it's definitely a game changer, and I'm really excited for the platform to launch. But go ahead and read that article because it's a great one.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it really calls to what the space is now, which is you know things that call themselves decentralized, that are really
Yep.
centralized actors, kind of most of the
Yeah.
time acting in the best
Yep.
interest of decisions that
Yep.
don't have a meaningful,
Yep.
outcome. You need
Yep.
the things that you need, like on-chain code
Yep.
execution. Votes lead to code
Right.
execution.
Right.
Turning over finances in a way with the sub DAOs that we've talked about,
Yep.
where it takes
In the
the
splitter and making sure funds go
Mhm.
exactly where they're supposed to go. I love how Toshi calls it out. Delusional. It is completely delusional to call what is there today decentralized, in my
Right.
opinion. So I couldn't agree more.
Right. We need these for people who are invested in the platforms. We need them for the teams, because
Yep.
the way it works right now, if the team's responsible for a funds, that's a huge risk. That is a huge liability to have to
Yep.
manage that. You have to take a lot of
Yep.
precautions. It's so
Yep.
much easier if the finances take care of themselves on chain in a way where
Exactly.
they're never responsible. It keeps them safe. It keeps them out of a regulatory nightmare,
Yep.
honestly.
Yep. Yep.
And it makes things better. It is the way you have to move things in order to get real businesses, real value onto
Yep.
Ethereum. That's what needs to
It,
happen.
exactly. This platform is going to blow this collective space's mind. I am telling you, it is going to be nothing short of a revolution, in my opinion. Gyp's personal opinion, that's my opinion, not financial advice. DYOR, I believe this platform in this project will change the course of history in Ethereum. That's my personal opinion. All right, let's move on to the last topic of the day. I saw there was some back and forth, and Paul Gruel.e. Is he Coinbase's head
Coinbase's
lawyer? I
chief
think,
legal
yeah, Coinbase's chief legal officer.
chief legal
Uh,
officer.
Basically, he was opining about. SEC in court filings um, are being evasive. They want to have their cake and eat it too.
Yep.
Um, they want to rely on a position and then go, whoa, 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 well, we're not taking that position. We're simply saying if that was the case that we would already have won. That if we're not saying we're going to prove this, but if we did prove this in theory, we would be in the right here. We would win. So um, in my opinion, and I'll let you give context to this and give a little color, this is more of the same that we have seen out of this SEC for the last 18 to 24 months. Regulation by enforcement, by intimidation, by threats, and wanting to uh, basically say, we're not going to take a position, but if we did take a position, this is what we believe we're entitled to. And I don't think the courts are going to let them have this. I really don't. They're trying this shtick that they've tried with the enforcement. And, when Coinbase and others have come to them and have said, hey, please make it clear for us what we need to do to come into compliance. You've said come into compliance. We'll be happy to work with you. And they have, been evasive and not given clear guidance. And I don't think the court's going to put up with this. But let's hear your take on it.
Yeah, it's exactly what you were saying. It's more of the same, where the SEC is coming in and saying, we haven't ruled whether these are or are not, securities or commodities, other than lawsuits, where we'll just arbitrarily throw some out there and tell you that you're breaking the rules for hosting these, without really giving a lot of context. That was the core in
Yep.
some of the lawsuits that came out a few weeks ago against Coinbase and Binance. But this is where I think this is in the Binance hearing. And I'm not even sure if this is directly related to the lawsuit or if this is something that's been in arbitration for a while. I'm not quite sure. But
Yeah.
it's basically the SEC doing their absolute best to not give any clarity whatsoever to the
Yep.
situation.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
saying previous rules are perfectly fine to govern these asset classes, and then they go around and say, but they're not really,
Yeah.
and they're asked, and the court asks,
Yeah.
and this is great by the
Right.
court. They're like, okay, so the ones that you're not listing as securities, are they commodities? And they just go on and say, we don't have to say, we're not saying
Yeah.
one way or
Right.
another. And it's like,
Right.
how?
Let me just cherry pick some highlights right here. If you'll just scroll up a little bit, let me
Yeah.
read you. Let me read you these three phrases. Scroll up to the first, if you don't mind. Right.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let's see. We reserve the right. Right. We are not taking a position at this time. And
Mm-hmm.
there was one other one that I missed there, but this is the thing, right? Is that they want to have their cake and eat it too. They don't want to commit to a position, but they
Yeah.
want to impugn Binance and Coinbase based on that position as if they were taking that position, right? And impugn guilt on it. And it's laughable. I don't think the court's going to go for this. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. I mean, these are in quotations.
Yeah.
So, these are quotes, but the way the judge is asking this, right? It doesn't seem like they're very pleased. So I'm asking you, the ones that you are not putting in the securities category, what are they? Are they commodities? We are not, thank you, Your Honor, we are not taking a position at this time. I don't think that's going to fly. This has been their whole thing, right?
You
This
can't
has been
say,
their whole
well,
thing is that, they want to intimidate and basically scare away the industry into as if they're going, they have the power to do this. And I think that they know that they don't, and that I would not be surprised to see them back down from this. And in fact, somebody put up I won't be able to find it right now, but somebody put up a great tweet saying that just basically analyzing their actions as of late, and it's basically
yeah,
playing a lot of defense. They're not on offense anymore. They're basically playing a lot of defense, and it's showing. Really, we thought once all of these lawsuits were filed, things like this, we were going to get to see their position, and they would finally have to walk the walk. And it is just as a lot of us thought that there's no, there's no actual meat and potatoes behind it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
The lawsuit was their offense, and they've immediately had to go back to the defensive side of saying, well, we can't take a position on this at this time. We're not
Right.
committing to this or that. And it's like,
Yep.
if you're not willing, like, this was sort of their time to draw a line and say, this is the standard. We're gonna post what the rules are, and
Yep.
then enforce them. They're just like, we're gonna enforce the rules as we're keeping intentionally
Yep.
gray. And it's like,
Yep.
I,
Yep.
the court's the last line of defense here. This is the place where these battles have to be fought out, because it
Yep.
could have been
It
fought
was
out.
always destined for this, it
It was
seems.
destined
It
for
was
this, yeah.
always destined for this.
But I
Yep.
mean, this is a fight that could have been, rules could have been made. They could have had talks. They could have been arbitrations there. They could have worked with Coinbase. The SEC could
Yep.
have talked to these exchanges and been like, let's make, common sense rules. Let's come together. Let's figure out how to govern this new asset class. Let's figure out
Yep.
how to regulate it. And instead, they're just
Yep.
like, we feel like these are securities and we're going to sue you
Right.
for it. And it's like,
Yep. And by
they
the
send it
way,
to the
right,
courts.
I mean, this is, me, myself, from my own personal opinion, um, supporting Coinbase and Binance in their uh, defense of themselves against the SEC. That doesn't mean that I, agree with everything that goes on in this space, and that there aren't problems. In fact, there are incredible problems in this space, and why we see these huge boom and bust cycles and we don't see lasting value in the space is because the mechanisms to hold and sustain real long-term value aren't there. And that's what the non-nation is all about, building this foundation, this economic foundation layer, so that people cannot rug each other and that real and lasting value can be maintained within the space, right? So, I just want to make that clear. Just because, I'm not saying that I don't agree with the SEC, I don't agree with them on their securities position, but I'm not saying that, you know, there isn't a problem in the space, because there is. And that's, what the non-nation is here to do, is to clean up the space, these bad actors, and to create a system where everybody can use it without fear of being rugged, things like that. So I just want to make that clear. I am fully against the SEC and their methods, but I don't disagree that there aren't problems in this space, because there are some serious problems in the space, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to us working our way and growing as an industry, and the non-nation is a large part of that.
Oh yeah, and they're going to work themselves out in the courts here. This is
Yep.
not the preferred method that I think Coinbase or Binance or would
Yep.
have wanted this to go through, but it's sort of the
Right.
place that they're in. And yeah,
Yeah.
the space will change, and the space will evolve from where we're at now. And we
Yeah.
want to be at the forefront of that. We want to say,
Yeah.
with the non-nation and the tools here, this is we're
Yep.
going to lay the groundwork to move past the era that we're currently in, this wild
Exactly.
west of cops and
Exactly.
robbers and sheriffs and bandits and
Right.
bank
And these
robbery.
problems might be solved by the time these work their way through. I mean,
Yeah.
with the non-nation and not relying on a centralized authority and a team and things like that, right? I mean, and complete and full decentralization. I mean, don't forget that this is just, I believe, at the district court level. I mean, there's still the appellate court level and the Supreme Court.
Yep.
This could take a long time to work its way through the system. So,
And it
here's
will. It
hoping
will.
that we clean up our own space to begin with, right? And we start and we build on top of a foundation that is conducive to creating real value and sustaining value in the space, and that's the non-nation.
Yep.
So that's a great note to end on. So just as a reminder, always DYOR. Don't click on links. Don't trust airdrops. Things like that. We are switching up the schedule for this week, the release schedule. I believe the weekly recap went out today, and that's going to be on Sundays going forward. I believe the podcast. What day is the podcast? It's
I
going
think
to be
podcast
Thursday, I believe.
Tuesday.
Maybe Tuesday? Okay. So it will be communicated via socials. And again, excellent article this week by Toshi.eth. So
Yes, check it
remember,
out.
so we have 2 AMAs per week, one for the non-viral, one for the non-labs team, and then we have the team event, and then we also have the podcast, and then the weekly recap. So and be on the lookout also for the non-army challenges. I know some challenges launched
Yeah.
last week, so actually maybe we should hit on that real quick because I believe there was a pretty big bounty, like zero point 0.1 ETH or something like
Yep.
that.
Trade whatever 0.01 ETH worth of
Yep,
and be put in the lottery
yep,
for 0.1 ETH.
yep,
Just
yep.
not a
And
bad payday.
make sure you're following all of the steps that are laid out. Use that as like a checklist, the checklist manifesto. Just go through. It's very clear in the tweet on what you need to do to be entered into the competition. Um, but be on the lookout for the one from last week, and this will be a regular thing going forward as we turn on the marketing, as we start to spread awareness about the platform before release, things like that. There's going to be lots of opportunities like this, so keep on the lookout. So, all right, my friends, thank you all for joining us. That's going to do it for episode 13. JPN, as always, thanks for your time, and we will see you guys next time.